masale bhat and tomato saar. Now here I have 50 grams of tendli or tonli. I've washed it really well and I'm going to cut off the edges. Once all the edges are cut off, we're going to slice it really thin in this manner, like this. This is a closer look. So you first cut it into half and then cut each half into threes or fours. So this is the tonli all prepped up. Now we are also going to be requiring about 10 to 12 cashew nuts. This is 2 teaspoons of goda masala or kala masala, 5 to 7 fresh curry leaves, 1 teaspoon each of sugar and 1 teaspoon of jaggery or gur, 1/4 teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohori or rye, and 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi powder. Now here I've taken half a cup of basmati rice, washed it really well and soaked it in 1 cup of water for about 10 minutes. Now we are also going to be requiring 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds or jeera, 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds or dhania, 4 dried red chilies, half an inch of cinnamon or dalchini, 5 cloves and 5 peppercorns, that is miri as well as lavang. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dry roast all of these dry spices for at least a whole minute till you get the lovely aroma, and once they come to room temperature you're going to grind them in a mixer to a very coarse powder. Then we're going to add half a cup of fresh coriander leaves and again grind this, and you get this beautiful masala or mixture. To set that aside. Now here I've drained the water from the rice and I've also kept 2 cups of water to boil. Now heat a pan and add 2 teaspoons of oil. Once the oil is nice and hot, you're going to add the mustard seeds. Let them splutter or pop. Once they begin to splutter, you're going to add the haldi powder. Then we're going to add the tonli or the tendli and really fry it for at least a whole minute. Fry it really well in this flavored oil. Next, we're going to be adding the curry leaves and we're going to fry the curry leaves also in this oil. Next, we're going to add the cashew nuts and fry the cashew nuts in the oil as well. Now I've drained all the water from the rice like I showed you. So now I'm going to add this basmati rice. It's best to use basmati rice for masale bhat. It just, elevates it to another level and it tastes really good with basmati rice. And now fry the rice also for at least half a minute in this oil. This is also very important. Fry it really, really well. And now the water, as you can see, is started to boil. Now add this hot water to the rice. See that it spreads out evenly all over the rice. And be extremely careful because this is hot boiling water. And ensure that all the grains that you see at the side of the pan also go into the water. And then just give it a gentle stir. Mix everything well together. And now we're going to add this ground powder or ground paste that we made with all the roasted spices and the coriander leaves. This is what gives the masale bhat its true, flavor as well as the aroma. So get all that goodness in. Mix everything well. Once you add this, you can already, get the lovely aroma of the masale bhat. It doesn't take much time. It'll now another 5 to 7 minutes. The masale bhat is going to be ready. Now we're going to add the goda or the kara masala. I will leave a link to how I make it at home, but you can also use the ready-made masala that's available. Now we're going to add some salt to taste. So this is a quarter teaspoon that I'm using. So I've in total used around 1 teaspoon, but you can adjust it as per taste. Then we're going to add the sugar and the jaggery or the gur or the jaggery. Mix everything really well together. And now all we have to do is just cover and cook this for about 5 minutes till all the water dries up. So you can keep an eye on it and just check it. And your masale bhat is all ready. So when serving this, just drizzle some lovely sarsuk toop or clarified butter or ghee, and also some grated coconut, fresh coconut, as well as some finely chopped coriander leaves, and you're all set. And now for the tomato saar, I leave instructions of how I prepare the tomato puree at home, but you can also use ready-made tomato puree. This is about 100 grams of tomato puree or 4 medium tomatoes. I've just added salt and sugar to it, and I'm going to get it to a gentle boil. Once it begins to boil, I'm going to add half a cup of coconut milk. Let the mixture, mix everything well and let it come to a nice gentle boil for about 3 minutes, and then turn it off. And here I've taken 4 teaspoons of ghee, to which I'm going to add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds and one small green chili cut fine. So this is the tempering. We're going to add this fodni or tadka or tempering to our saar, and that's it. It's as simple as that. So I leave instructions of how I prepared the tomato puree at home, or you can watch the video till the end, because I've mentioned it at the end of the video as to how I've prepared the tomato puree. So I hope you give these 2 recipes a try. This lovely tomato omelette recipe, which is completely veg. So now I've taken a bowl. To the bowl, I'm going to add 1 cup of chickpea flour or besan and 1/4 cup of rice flour. Now I'm going to add salt to taste and mix the 3 dry ingredients really well together. Next, I'm going to be adding about 2 tablespoons of dahi. I will leave a link to how I make the dahi at home. You can also use ready-made dahi. Now I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of water and just whisk it all well together. Now I'm going to add about 2 more tablespoons and again whisk it. So we want a thick batter. We don't want a very runny dosa kind of batter, but we want a thick pancake kind of batter or ghavan kind of batter. Now next I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera from my spice box. Next I'm going to add half a teaspoon of ajwain or ova, 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, and half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder, and half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hing. Now whisk all of this really well together. Again, I'm going to add about just a 1/4 cup of water and again mix all the ingredients into the batter. Again, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of water. Basically, I'm looking for a thick pancake batter consistency. Now I'm going to add half a teaspoon of baking soda and about 1 tablespoon of oil, and mix all of this really nicely together. Now keep your pan heating up if you're using an iron thick pan. And now I'm going to add 1 green chili that I've cut fine, 1 small onion that I've chopped fine. And since this is a tomato omelette, so I'm going to add 2 medium-sized tomatoes which I've chopped fine. I'm going to add also a 1/4 cup of fresh coriander that I've chopped, and now mix everything well. Now if you're using a non-stick pan, you can heat it up just about 2 minutes before you start. But if you're using a heavy iron pan like the one I'm using, my dosa pan basically, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of the batter, and I'm going to spread it out, not very thin, not very thick, just like a pancake or a ghavan. So that it's evenly spread out. Keep your flame between low and medium. And now I'm just going to add a few drops of oil. You can also use ghee or clarified butter. Just a little, say about a 1/4 teaspoon. and then just swirl it around so that it goes all over the gavan. Now we're just going to cover and cook it for half a minute. After half a minute, just loosen the edges and then just flip it onto the other side and fry the other side as well. Now we're just going to fry it for about half a minute on this side. And then I'm just going to pour a few drops of ghee and then flip it over. That's completely optional. And now just transfer it to a serving plate. And in this way you can make, all the tomato omelettes, or you can even store it in a refrigerator for a day or two. So with this batter, you get about 10 medium-sized tomato omelettes. See that it's fried well, so that your pan is nice and hot. And cover and cook it just for about half a minute. And you'll see that the edges become golden brown in color. That's the time you loosen it, flip it over. Just fry it for a little while on the other side too. So it will look like this on the top of the gavan, or the tomato omelette rather. And this is the other side. And serve this with some ketchup or green chutney. This is a great snack item or a breakfast item, and it gets ready also very quickly. So do try out this recipe, and I'll catch you in my next video. This is Akshata signing off. Bye.
Akshata's Recipes. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a tomato pickle recipe. Now I don't know how many of you have tried out tomato pickle. I do have a tomato chutney. Most of us make tomato chutney or tomato bhaji. So I have a recipe for that, but this is a different recipe. This is a tomato pickle recipe, and let's just jump straight ahead into today's recipe of tomato pickle.
So let's get started by seeing what our ingredients are. So here I have about 250 grams of 5 large tomatoes cut into small cubes. This is half a cup of ginger garlic paste. This is 2 tablespoons of urad dal, 4 tablespoons of Kashmiri red chili powder, 2 tablespoons of tamarind paste, quarter teaspoon of mustard seeds, quarter teaspoon of turmeric powder, quarter teaspoon of asafoetida or hing, 1 tablespoon of gur, and some salt to taste. Now here I've heated about 4 to 5 tablespoons of oil. Once your oil is heated up, you're going to add your mustard seeds, your asafoetida, as well as your haldi powder. Now once this is done, we're going to add the urad dal and we're going to add our ginger garlic paste. We have to fry this paste really well. So once you get the aroma of the ginger and the garlic, you know that it's fried very well. And now we're just going to add up our chopped up tomatoes. We don't want them very small, cubed very small, just medium sized cubes. We're going to give all of this a nice good mix. And then we're going to cover and cook this till it becomes nice and soft and the tomatoes are nice and soft and mushy. We have to keep stirring in between so that it doesn't get burnt at the bottom. So this should take you about 5 to 7 minutes for the tomatoes to actually get nicely cooked. Now once the tomatoes have completely cooked, we're just going to give it one more mix. And now we're going to add in our salt to taste. Give that a good mix once you've added the salt. Next, we're going to add the jaggery or the gur, and you can give it, add as per your taste. Next, we're going to add the Kashmiri red chili powder for the nice color. And again, we're going to cook it for just about a minute. Once that is done, we're going to turn off the heat and we're going to add the tamarind pulp or the tamarind juice. Now, all I've done is just taken about 1 tablespoon of tamarind and soaked it in some hot water for about half an hour. Now, once our pickle is completely cooled, we're going to transfer it to a clean, dry glass jar and store it in a nice dark place. And this pickle can be had instantly. You don't have to wait for this pickle like other pickles, You can just have it immediately. It tastes simply delicious and you're going to love it. Stick around to hear the important points that I have to share while making this pickle.
Now, one tip that I'd like to share with you on making this pickle is try to use, fresh tomatoes. Don't use tomatoes which have gone a little bit overripe. You need real nice taut tomatoes, nice and red and firm. And nowadays also you get these beautiful tomatoes with the little green leaf still retained on the top. I love those type of tomatoes. So if you can get your hands on those, they have a lovely flavor. And the dish really turns out, the pickle really turns out good. It has a very long shelf life. It lasts for almost a month or two if preserved well. And with all pickles, I'd like to give you a tip here, and I learned this from my grandmom. Never use water when you're making any pickles. And also secondly, whenever you're serving yourself, normally what happens is we always keep our pickles in a glass jar and use a spoon to take out how much ever we want. Always ensure that your spoon is completely dry. because even a little bit of moisture, a little bit of water does tend to, spoil the pickle. So that's one tip I'd like to share. Also, try and keep your pickles either in a steel container or in a glass container. Ensure that your glass container is completely dry, clean. You can even sun dry your bottles before you want to put your pickles in them. That way they last for a longer time. Another way Another way to store pickles and ensure that they have a longer shelf life is to store them in a nice dark place. So somewhere behind in your kitchen cabinet, in a nice dark place. That way they remain, longer. And also,
Let's see today's lovely, delicious tomato koshimbir recipe. And I'm also going to show you how I make my roasted peanut powder at home. So let's start with the tomato koshimbir. Now here I've taken 2 large tomatoes and I've chopped them really fine. I'm going to add this to a mixing bowl. I'm going to add 1 medium-sized onion chopped fine. Now mix the two really well together. Now I'm going to add about half a cup of roasted peanut powder. You can add as per your taste. And this peanut powder also is very easy to prepare. Next, I'm going to add some salt to taste. And I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of sugar. You can add the sugar and salt as per taste. Now mix everything really, really well together. Now I'm going to give a small tadka or a fodni. So I've taken half a tablespoon of oil, heated it up in a small pan or a cudler, and I'm going to add half a teaspoon each of mustard seeds, cumin seeds, asafoetida and turmeric powder. Now I'm also going to add 1 green chili that I've cut really fine, and we're going to fry this green chili really well. We're going to add this tadka or fodni to the koshimbir and mix everything really well together. This tadka really elevates the flavor of this koshimbir. And just garnish it with some koshimbir or some cilantro or coriander leaves. And I like to keep this in the refrigerator, and it tastes really nice when it's served chilled. And this is a great accompaniment to, amti bhat or some pori bhaji. It's like a nice refreshing salad. It can be had all by itself too. And now moving on to how I make this roasted peanut powder. So I've taken about 2 cups of raw peanuts in a large pan, and we're going to roast this on a low to medium flame, stirring continuously. This took me about 5 whole minutes till the peanuts were nice and roasted. And you'll hear this popping sound as they get ready. And also the color of the peel will change to a darker brown color with black spots on it, so you know that it's ready. Now you can turn off your flame and let the peanuts cool down, in the pan itself. Not completely cool down, they should be a little bit warm. And then you transfer them to a large plate. Or I have this, lovely I think it's called soup in Marathi. I don't know what the English word for it is. Maybe you all can write it in the comment section below. And that way, I can easily just peel off the peanuts. Now, while they are warm, it's easier for the peel to come off. And you can also use a nice dry kitchen napkin like this to make the work easier. Try to get off as much of the peel as you can. Now, generally, once I peel them, I sit on my kitchen floor and I do this. But right now, for the camera, I'm putting it on my platform. So just kind of shake off the peanuts like this, and then just blow away the peel. It's very easy to do that. You just have to kind of lift the or rather just, it's difficult to explain in words, but just kind of get the peel of the peanuts and just blow away the peel, so that all you're left with is this lovely peeled peanuts to make the peanut powder with. And these peanuts, you can if you don't want to use them in a peanut powder, you can just keep them as a snack, as roasted peanuts. They taste delicious and they're pretty healthy too. So you can do this on your kitchen window, or you can just sit on the floor. That's what I generally do, and then sweep off all the peel. But try to get off all of the peel, or as much as the peel that you can. And I like to make about 2 cups, 1.5 cup of this peanut powder, and keep it handy. You can use this for kanda batata rasa. You can use it for sabudana khichdi, sabudana vadas. You can use it to make tirgur. So it has a lot of uses in the kitchen. And I'll link all the recipes that I've used my peanut powder in the description box below. And now once we finished with getting off all the peel, generally I sweep it off the floor, but right now I'm just taking it all off my kitchen platform. And then we're just going to blitz it. You don't want to grind it, you want to blitz it. So you just blitz, stop. And you want a little bit of the peanuts also to be there. You don't want a completely smooth powder. So a little bit of the peanuts, pieces of peanuts, and you're all set to go. And your peanut powder is all ready. So do try out these 2 recipes and let me know how you liked it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.